Today I'm going to show you how to make one of my all-time favourites, Panzanella salad. This dish is begging for your stale sourdough bread, and in my opinion using sourdough really brings something unique to this salad. Now, I first made this when I was cooking in Tuscany, and I used to get the tomatoes, the cucumber, the onion and the basil from the garden, and this would often be made for lunch during summer. And even though I live in Athens now, a city, I don't have access to a garden, I still take the time to choose my produce really carefully. We're at the beginning of July now and the tomatoes are pretty good, but they are going to be in their element in a couple of weeks' time. This dish is simplicity at its best, and the secret to perfecting dishes like this is simple. Choose the very best ingredients that you can find. Now, you can make this with freshly baked sourdough, but I like using it when it's at least 2 days old, but preferably 3. And I'm actually using some sourdough that I froze, I think a couple of weeks ago now. It was about 4 days old, and rather than leave it to go too far, I froze half of it as it was, and then the other half I just cut into cubes, and it is perfect for a salad like this. You can rip it apart to keep things looking rustic, or of course cut it into cubes, whichever tickles your fancy. Now we're going to pop the sourdough onto a tray and we're going to mix it with olive oil, salt, pepper and a few crushed garlic cloves with the skin left on. We're going to slide that tray into an oven that's been preheated to 220 degrees Celsius. That's 390 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to roast that for about 10 minutes, but importantly, I want to see some colour on my sourdough, which is what gives an excellent toasted flavour to the salad, which contrasts those fresh ingredients beautifully. Now, when the sourdough is ready, we're going to remove the garlic cloves and leave that to cool at room temperature. Now, another fantastic variation of this salad uses bread that's been revived in cold water. So to make this version, I add the pieces of sourdough to a bowl, cover it with cold water and then soak it for about 5 or 10 minutes until the bread goes soft. I then squeeze out any excess water, fluff it up a little bit and leave the bread until I'm ready to add it to the salad. Now we're going to take our fresh tomatoes, we're going to remove any hard cores and we're going to cut them into rough pieces and then pop them into the bowl. Now the full recipe is going to be on the website, which will be linked in the video description, but you know, when making salads like this, when putting them together, I encourage you to go by feel and kind of add the amounts that suit you. Now for this dish, I like to remove the skin from the cucumber. I chop it up into pieces, but I don't remove the core. The excess moisture in the cucumber is key for the dressing that you'll see in a minute. Take a red onion, simply remove the skin and slice it. We're now going to season the tomatoes, the onion and the cucumber generously with sea salt and cracked black pepper. We're going to throw in some basil leaves and then give that mixture a gentle stir. The salt is going to draw the moisture from the vegetables, which creates a beautiful dressing. Now after about 10 minutes you're going to see a little pool of liquid at the bottom of the bowl, and that's letting us know that it's time to build this salad. So we're going to add a generous amount of extra virgin olive oil and some vinegar. Now red wine vinegar is probably more traditional, but I'm using apple cider vinegar, which works perfectly. Add some fresh basil, some more fresh basil, stir everything together to coat those vegetables in the dressing. Now some people like to emulsify their dressing, but I think it makes that dressing just a little bit too heavy and it clings to the vegetables. Whereas when the oil, the vinegar and the juices from those vegetables are combined gently, the dressing stays nice and light, which I think really complements this type of salad. But you know, that's just me. You do what suits you. Now we can add either the roasted or the soaked sourdough and toss. And that's it. Pure summer on a plate. Now I don't think there is a better way to use up stale sourdough. And you know what? If your bread doesn't last long enough to go stale, then use fresh. I promise I won't tell anybody. This is textural heaven. I love the contrast between the different vegetables and the sourdough. The dressing is light and that acidity makes everything come alive. And then every now and again, you get hit with this crunch of spice from the black pepper. Come on guys, how can you not love this one? The recipe's up on the website, and if you haven't dabbled in making your own sourdough, then it's worth it just for this salad. I'll leave a link to my Old Faithful sourdough recipe at the end of this video. Now I'm going to be showing you lots more of my favourite dishes to make with sourdough, both here on YouTube and over on the website. So don't be shy, drop down into those comments and let me know what you thought to this panzanella salad, and let me know if there's anything you'd like to see me make. A huge thank you for watching. See you again very soon. Stay tuned.